Hello everyone, welcome back to A Dog's Life in Liechtenstein. Well, recently my husband took some of his annual leave and we travelled by car down the east coast of Italy, all the way to Apulia, which is the heel section of Italy. It's an area neither my husband nor I had ever seen before. Arthur had so much fun and we saw too many nice places to put into one video, so I thought I'd make 2 or 3 short ones instead. The first place I want to show you is Castell del Monte. To reach it, we travelled, of course, past a few of the several million olive trees in the region, many behind traditional stone fences. The area is famous for its castle, the Castell del Monte, which stands on a 500-meter high hill so it can be seen from afar in the mostly flat region. We were eager for our first view. And there it is. You really can see it from afar. It took us quite some minutes to drive closer and closer. Unfortunately, it was too late in the day for us to visit the castle, so instead we found a bed and breakfast place nearby. While waiting to check in, we explored the nearby fields with Arthur and gave him a little frisbee time after so many hours in the car. Rainer and Arthur went off with the frisbee. I was more fascinated by the peach and cherry trees, some of which were already ripe, and yes, I stole a couple to try. They were delicious. A truly happy dog, looking gorgeous in flowers. It's such beautiful countryside, don't you think? The bed and breakfast we stayed at that night had a huge, fully fenced garden. It was a real playground for Arthur, who discovered the joys of chasing geckos and lizards. He scared this one up the tree, so I got the chance to admire its beautiful colors. Then it was off, so fast, Arthur didn't even see it. He still thinks it's up the tree. We passed a good night at this place, but were especially happy how dog-friendly the old couple who ran it were and how safe the environment was for Arthur. He had all of this space to play ball in the morning before we left. We got an early start that morning and walked up to the castle well before it opened. Okay, it's time to say a little bit about the castle. It's actually quite small but considered unique. It was built in the 1240s, so almost 800 years ago, by King Frederick II, who inherited the land it stands on from his mother Constance of Sicily. Frederick was a very educated man for his time and is credited with being a leader of modern humanism, and he brought scholars from throughout the Mediterranean into his court and worked at combining Eastern and Western traditions. It's said that Frederick imbued the castle with symbolic significance. Its octagonal plan and octagonal towers at each angle is a search for perfection and combines mathematical and astronomical precision. I don't know about all that, but he sure chose the best strategic building site. It has amazing 360-degree views. All sides of the structure are almost the same, except one window is different from the rest, and there is a main front door and a back service door. Apparently, the towers were originally several meters higher, which would have looked fantastic and made the castle even more visible from a distance. After exploring the outside area in complete solitude, we found a shady spot to take a break and wait for opening time. Arthur wasn't allowed to enter, so Rainer and I took it in turns to go inside. 8 sides and 8 towers, but strangely, only 3 doors. Once I was inside, at first I was a bit unimpressed, but the more I explored, the more I was charmed. It was truly a labyrinth. Many of the rooms connected to other rooms, but not all of them, so you would suddenly come to a dead end and have to return. Several of the towers contained stairs, but some of them only had rooms that were used for storage. Because we had entered as they opened, I almost had the building to myself. At first you think every room is the same, but on closer inspection there are subtle differences in each. In most of the upstairs room were these long stone seating areas where it was said scholars could meet and discuss academic issues. King Frederick invited and brought together Greek, Arab, Italian and Jewish scholars, and it wasn't hard to imagine them dressed in medieval style, sitting on these benches discussing maths, astrology, physics and religion. It's hard to describe my feelings walking in these spaces. Confusion, as I was almost immediately disoriented and lost, and wonder at the sheer beauty. I just know how it made me feel, and listening back to my original audio, at one point I said, "This is seriously cool." The castle has had many uses over the centuries, as a hospital, a refuge from the plague, a prison, a hunting lodge, and even a secret navigation station during World War II. It's said it was the inspiration for Umberto Eco's novel, The Name of the Rose, and it's also been used as a film set more than once. Many of the rooms had what appeared to be fireplaces, but only a few of them were functional. Most were only decorative. Apparently the columns were originally covered in marble, and there were decorative figures and mosaics throughout, all of which were stolen or removed in the 1800s. But the building has maintained its structural integrity to the extent that it's been made a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Then it was my turn to spend some quiet time outside with Arthur while Rainer viewed the inside. Arthur also seemed fascinated with the castle, or perhaps it was because we were sitting below what's called the eagle window. When it was time to leave this area and continue our travels, we realized we'd picked up a little unwanted souvenir, a nail in one of our tires. Ah well, life can't be all about visiting and imagining living in castles. Well, that's all for this time for A Dog's Life in Liechtenstein. I hope you enjoyed our little castle tour as much as we did. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and please leave a comment. See you again soon.